This is an extended look at the drinks that we made for our collaboration with Mr Black Coffee Liqueur. You can check that out below if you haven't seen it yet, but here we'll take a deeper look at its origins, what products to use, and do some tasting notes at the end. First appearing in print in the 1930s, the coffee house cocktail certainly predates its more famous coffee compatriots such as the White Russian or Espresso Martini. This is actually not technically a coffee liqueur cocktail. The original recipe called for equal parts regular coffee and rye with some sugar and bitters. It's assumed that it would have been served warm, but the book it was first written in was fairly tongue-in-cheek and concentrated more on gently mocking the temperance movement than giving clear instructions on how to make the drinks. However, modern bartenders such as Melbourne's own Michael Madison decided to take another look at it and reimagined it more as a coffee-flavoured old-fashioned. In the proportions I'm using here, it's actually more similar to a Manhattan because I'm using really good quality coffee liqueur and I want that to shine through a little bit more. I know I'm doing a lot of Manhattan variations lately, aren't I? But it's a classic for a reason. You do want a nice weighty rye with good chocolatey notes for this. I'm using the Gospel Solera rye to stick with our Australian theme. It is made here in Melbourne. It's really reasonably priced to use in cocktails and delicious. It's made from 100% rye, so it's got really good spice and sort of caramel flavors that work really well here. Otherwise, something like Knob Creek rye works because it's got that kind of real nutty note, or even Old Overholt with its more kind of vanilla tones. You can, of course, use bourbon if rye is just not your jam. It'll just be a little bit sweeter and less spicy. Mr Black Coffee Liqueur, it does really make this drink because it's a lot less sweet than other ones on the market and has a really good length. Orange bitters is the standard and that really kind of lightens and brightens. I also like to add these cacao and macadamia bitters to really support those chocolate and nutty flavors in the other ingredients. Of course, if you can't get your hands on them, then just leave them out. So as always, we're gonna prepare our twist first. Now I'm not too bothered, it is getting served on the rock, so I kind of like to just keep the twist rustic usually when I do that, so that'll do just fine. And then we're gonna go 40 mils of our Gospel Rye. Obviously, like using local, so it's pretty fun that there's some rye whiskies being made here too. And then we're gonna go 20 mils of the Mr Black Coffee Liqueur. It smells really good, big waft of coffee. And then 2 dashes of orange bitters. I'm using Reagan's, but it's not too much of a difference really. And then sort of 2 dashes of this little Mr Bitters cacao and macadamia, also made here in Melbourne. So it comes in a dropper, so it's 1 good drop of that. Then we're gonna add some ice to our mixing glass and give it a little stir. Delicious. And then strain into a chilled rocks glass over a block of ice. Then we just give our orange twist a little spritz over the top here. Give it a little twist around and pop it in. The coffee house cocktail. So now you know. Probably give this a little taste. The coffee and orange on the nose is so delicious. It's actually quite gentle, you know, considering that the Gospel is like a pretty powerful rye. Just kind of rounded out quite nicely because you do, yeah, have that kind of like sweet, like actually quite fruity kind of notes coming from the Mr Black that are really accentuated by that orange twist. And then obviously that nice kind of like slightly vanilla sweetness. And then it does just like keep going for ages, which is really nice, like that quite bitter finish with, you know, both the Mr Black and the actual bitters coming through quite nicely there. Definitely a cocktail with legs. Delicious.